Dead Rising 2 is a zombie murder simulator, crossed with a secretary simulator. The game forces you to balance your schedule between ceaselessly murdering hordes of zombies with a plethora of weapons and doing plot-relevant timed missions. If you don't finish them on time, then the rest of the game is closed off to you, leaving you to fuck off for 3 days killing zombies, which really isn't so bad, but the plot's pretty good, so that isn't the best course of action. You play as former motocross champion Chuck Green, who competes in an extreme zombie murder porn game show known as
Terror is reality!
Or Terror, which goes horribly wrong when, surprise surprise, the zombies escape. It's then your job to find enough Zombrex, which is the antidote for people infected with zombieism, to keep your daughter alive. By the way, your daughter is infected. You also need to complete story-related missions to clear your name, which, BT dubs, you were framed.
Chuck Green.
What?
Aside from furthering these two objectives, you also save hostages from extreme activists, inbred retards, and self-induced fires. Over the course of Dead Rising 2, Chuck spends the majority of his time murdering the undead with a minutiae of weapons. Most of the weapons can be used with the game's new weapon crafting system to create more, even better weapons. Using these new hybrid weapons, Chuck deals more damage and also earns extra experience points. Experience points in Dead Rising 2, therein referred to as PP, stands for prestige points or something, will increase Chuck's capacity for items, his running speed, his health, and his repertoire of evasive and offensive techniques such as the DDT and a rolling maneuver. The weapons that are combinable with this weapon crafting system are marked with a special symbol next to them. Chuck can discover new formulas for weapon combinations by getting combo cards, which are gathered via leveling up or simply staring at random shit. After getting the combo cards, Chuck can perform the heavy attack for the corresponding weapon, which proves far more deadly. Missions in Dead Rising 2 come in 3 distinct flavors: random survivor rescue missions, story-centric missions, and boss battles. Even though reading the description of the mission can help you elicit whether or not it's a boss battle, there are no special markers, so it is highly probable that you'll stumble into a boss battle or two unprepared or, even worse, unsaved anytime recently.
Oh, crap.
Boss battles can sometimes reward Chuck with hostages, which is important because hostages and survivors earn Chuck even more penis points than simply beating zombies to death. So it's really important to save as many people as possible in between story missions. Losing a single hostage on the way back to the safe room costs the player thousands of dick points, so it's especially important to return with them intact. This can prove difficult if you have no self-control with your weapons, as hitting the hostage can make them turn on Chuck. Once they've betrayed you, there's nothing the player can do to turn them back to his side, even including throwing food at their face. I see this as completely unrealistic, as I calmed many fat people this way.
No, you know what? No! No more of this! Daniel, where are you? I swear to God! Yes!
The graphics in Dead Rising 2 are nothing to write home about, but they certainly get the job done. The engine can allegedly render up to 7,000 zombies at once, which obviously is important for a game such as this. There are screen tearing issues on the PS3 version and frame rate drops are kind of common, but the game's never unplayable. If there's anything noteworthy about the graphics engine though, it's that Dead Rising 2, 1, despite being made by a completely different studio, Dead Rising 1 being made by Capcom's home studio, and Dead Rising 2 being made by the new Capcom Canada, this game looks remarkably similar to the first outing. And 2, this fire effect is shit yourself to death horrible. Ugh. I've seen better fire effects on the DS, Christ.
I'm number 1!
The sound design in Dead Rising 2 is superb and never lacking. The sound effects of tearing through human bodies with chainsaws, machetes, and other weapons are so remarkably vivid a person has to wonder if they let Capcom borrow some cadavers for an afternoon of sound production. The music is perfectly themed and greatly accentuates the boss battles with a badass rock undertone. However, the rest of the music outside of the boss battles, well, there's pretty much ambience and shopping music. This is especially notable in the pause screen, which is almost laughable considering something this soothing is in a game in which you do a lot of this. There are no custom soundtracks on the PS3 version of Dead Rising 2, which would have been a greatly appreciated feature, but that's not to say it was expected, as pretty much no one supports custom soundtracks. But it would have been nice to mow down zombies while listening to your own music. Dead Rising 2 has 7 endings, which change depending on whether or not you keep your daughter alive and various other spoiler-rageous things. There's also a New Game Plus feature where you keep all of your items, levels, and combo cards. It's also noteworthy that you don't have to complete the game to make use of the New Game Plus, so at any point in time you can power level and restart. Dead Rising 2 takes about 10 hours to complete, and the joy of beating in a zombie's skull is eternal, so there's a great deal of replayability. There's also multiplayer. So, Dead Rising 2, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the boss battles, and the joy of bludgeoning zombies. The bad, the accidental boss battles, and I don't know, I think this game would be better playing as Dante. The ugly? The graphics. Seriously, this game is a real case of butter graphics.
Butter graphics?
Yeah, everything's great, butter graphics. That man's burning alive. Overall, Dead Rising 2 is a really fun game and has enough value to justify a $60 price tag. If you have any interest in the ceaseless murdering of the undead, then this game is for you. We here at GigaBoots.com give Dead Rising 2 a 9 out of 10.